set in a metropolitan city, but nothing was normal there. Zombies were everywhere. Many of them were roaming and roaring in front of a supermarket, some even feasting on the flesh of dead bodies. It was a horrifying sight. Suddenly, a unique zombie appeared, carrying a shovel in its hand. Unlike the others, it passed by them and headed straight for the supermarket. This distinct zombie opened the supermarket door and entered. A lot of zombies were moving inside the supermarket and destroying everything. That different zombie looked around and put down a bag he was carrying from his shoulder. He moved toward a food counter and started to put food inside the bag. When the bag was full, someone asked the zombie to get back. When the zombie was at the exit door, someone ordered him to stop and carry a can of Coke from the Coke rack. The zombie did that and exited from the supermarket. After that, he went to another path, passing other zombies. A man gingerly opened the red and white Coke can that the zombie had fetched for him, the fizz escaping with a gentle hiss. Taking a long swig, he felt the cool and refreshing liquid spread through his tired body, momentarily revitalizing him. As he sat on the edge of the building's roof, he glanced at the zombie sitting next to him. That different zombie was a puppet of Ling. With a sense of accomplishment, Ling reflected on how much progress he had made in gaining control over the zombies compared to previous days. The name of the man was Ling Mo. He was just an ordinary student. Ling was thinking about the time when a new type of virus emerged in their city half a month ago. That virus transformed numerous people into zombies. Zombies are the craziest monster-like creatures that could only kill. Survivors had no choice but to hide like rats. They were struggling a lot to survive. No doubt, the city became a place of dead in a few days. When all these bad things were happening simultaneously, a good thing happened to Ling Mo. He realized that he could control zombies. Ling had some magic power. He could control those monstrous creatures with his magic whip and killed a lot of them. Ling knew that he could control zombies because he had the power to establish a connection between him and zombies. Zombies were nothing but puppets, and they were unable to think, so it was easier for Ling to build a connection between them and use them as his puppet. Ling found his power when he was in an alley, and a few zombies surrounded him and wanted to kill him. However, the zombies were not successful as Ling killed them all. Ling realized that he got to know some other tips regarding zombies with time, so Ling could control his zombie puppet from a certain distance. Ling's confidence in his extraordinary magical abilities surged through him as he drained the last drops from the can of Coke. With unwavering resolve, he believed that he would navigate the perilous, zombie-infested area unscathed and emerge on the other side unharmed. Clutching a weathered photograph in his hand, Ling stared at the image of himself and a girl dressed in their school uniforms. Without a doubt, she was his dear friend, and he was determined to find her. Ling whispered to the girl in the picture, promising to do everything in his power to locate her and reunite with her soon. Ling instructed his zombie puppet to return to their temporary residence and began walking. He also mentioned that they would set out again the next morning. Ling was asleep. Suddenly, he heard his phone ringing. He answered the call and heard a voice on the other end. The voice warned him that it was late and he should wake up. Ling, still groggy, tried to find out who called, but the voice informed him that she was in the car, having bought ribs for Ling to cook a delicious meal in the evening. Ling realized that the caller was Yahello. Ling tried to tell Yahello that he had always wanted to ask her something, but he couldn't finish his sentence because Yahello interrupted him. Ling got excited and told Yahello that he hadn't yet said what he wanted to. Yahello asked him what it was, but Ling couldn't bring himself to say it. Instead, he told Yahello that he would be whoever she wanted him to be. Ling then called out her name, wanting to tell her that he loved her. Before he could finish his sentence, he heard Yahello to be amazed. Ling repeatedly called out Yahello's name, but only heard Yahello telling him to run. Suddenly, he woke up in bed and realized it was just a dream. He also remembered that it was the day of the disaster. He deeply missed Yahello. Fortunately, Ling had done a great job chaining the zombie puppet the day before. The exhausted zombie puppet was feeling frustrated, so Ling urged him to relax. Handing a key to the puppet, Ling instructed it to start the engine. It was time for them to move. Ling stepped out of his house and noticed that Yahello's house was just across the street, but it was infested with zombies. He thought it would be dangerous to attempt to go through that way. There were hundreds of zombies on the road, making eerie sounds. Hearing someone call for help, Ling attempted to head in that direction, but the zombies turned and came back towards Ling and his puppet, growling. Somehow, Ling and his puppet managed to deceive the zombies and take cover beside a car. Ling and his puppet discovered a staircase and decided to use it to trick the zombies. However, they noticed two people crying for help. Ling thought it was not a good idea to cry for help at that time because it would attract more zombies. Unfortunately, his thoughts turned out to be accurate. The sound of the people asking for help attracted the zombies to them. The zombies broke through the gate and attacked the helpless people. They cried out extremely loud in helplessness, but that drowned under the zombie roars. Ling was feeling confused. He couldn't understand why he didn't feel any pity in his heart when zombies had eaten 2 people alive. Not only that, he also felt something strange. Ling tried to figure out if that feeling was a sense of pleasure. He wanted to know if his connection with his zombie puppet was affecting his character. All these emotions made him engage in self-reflection. He made himself understand that he needed to use his special power. Ling realized that he couldn't save Yaelian without his zombie puppet. So, Ling ordered his puppet to search the street nearby. He thought as Yaelian's house was there, she couldn't go far away, but there were zombies outside and everywhere. The streets were filled with strange sounds. Suddenly, Ling saw a big red bus with the number 618, but it was in very poor condition. So Ling thought there might be a car accident. But he was worried about the passengers inside. He thought they might be stuck there and died. Also, they had turned into zombies by then. Ling instructed his puppet to move quickly. But then, something suddenly struck him. He asked the puppet to stop and remembered that Yaelian always caught the 618 bus when she came to see him. While he was lost in thought, Ling's zombie puppet expressed a desire to board the bus and did so before Ling could stop him. Ling had no choice but to follow the puppet onto the bus, where he spotted a girl with her back turned. He realized it was Yaelian and couldn't help but yell her name. However, to his horror, she had turned into a zombie. Yaelian turned and started to approach Ling, her eyes glowing red and her face twisted in a cruel expression. She began to scream and run toward Ling, clearly intent on attacking him. Yaelian had demonically big red eyes and ferociously attacked Ling's zombie puppet, piercing its abdomen with her right hand. Ling was shocked to witness the violence and was surprised by Yaelian's ability to do so. The zombie puppet was severely hurt, and Yaelian's kick sent the puppet flying far away in the bus. Suddenly, Ling felt something different. He realized that the other zombies on the bus had infected Yaelian. Determined, he knew he had to think of something great. He had already put in a lot of effort to find Yaelian, and he couldn't let all that hard work go to waste. Ling also considered that if Yaelian could kill his zombie puppet, she might run away. Ling focused and thought clearly. He wanted to gain control of Yaelian first in order to save her. Ling tried to sense Yaelian's spirit with his magical power, unleashing his own spirit to find hers. Ling's spirit almost reached Yaelian's, but when her spirit opened its eyes, they were deadly and red as fire. This caused Ling's spirit to lose its mental balance for a moment, and Yaelian's spirit attacked it. Both of them returned to reality, with Yaelian badly injuring Ling. Despite this, Ling, being intellectual, understood what had actually happened, so he released his spirit again with his power and allowed it to reach Yaelian's spirit once more. Ling realized that Yaelian's spirit was resisting itself at that time, making it impossible for him to gain control of her. Ling's spirit, however, was very thoughtful and believed that if Yaelian could regain her self-awareness, she would be okay. This was the only way to prevent her from turning into a zombie. Ling's spirit was determined, and despite the numerous chances of failure, it chose the path that could bring Yaelian back to her normal state. Ling's spirit understood that if Yaelian did not accept Ling, she would become a zombie. So, it released a handful of magic whips to gain control of Yaelian's spirit, hoping to succeed. Eventually, Ling's spirit was able to gain control of Yaelian's spirit. In reality, Ling managed to calm Yaelian, and he could finally heave a sigh of relief. As Ling watched Yaelian approach the body of his zombie puppet, he sensed that she was after something else. Despite his protests, she continued her advance, heading straight for the hindbrain of the puppet. Ling's suspicions were confirmed when Yaelian uncovered a tablet-shaped red gel from the zombie's head. Although apprehensive, Ling urged Yaelian to consume the gel. To his surprise, she did. Instantly, Ling felt a sense of relief wash over him, and he could see that Yaelian felt the same. Ling was ecstatic. The gel was truly remarkable. Suddenly, both Yaelian and Ling found themselves in a calm place. Yaelian appeared tired and sad, with torn clothes and blood covering her body, but her eyes still burned with determination. Ling reached out and gently touched Yaelian's face, expressing his compassion for her and promising to find a way to make things better. As Ling consoled Yaelian, the control of the magic whip loosened, and Yaelian regained her indomitable strength, kicking out at Ling. Despite this, Ling, being the most intelligent of all, realized that the spiritual connection had weakened and that Yaelian would try to kill him again. Ling could not allow that to happen, so he calmed himself and focused on his strength. Meanwhile, Yaelian was about to attack Ling, but he gathered all his strength and regained control of Yaelian. He managed to calm her down once again. After that, Ling wanted to take Yaelian somewhere to help her clean herself and change her clothes. They were outside Shin's clothing shop when they noticed 4 zombies roaming in front of the shop. Ling was surprised by Yaelian's behavior. She seemed determined to attack the zombies and collect all the gels. Ling thought that these gels were giving pleasure to Yaelian. He took out his knife and expressed his intention to join Yaelian. But Yaelian was not willing to wait. While Ling was pondering all this, she attacked the zombies and quickly defeated them. Ling realized that if he didn't improve himself, he would lose control of Yaelian. Also, if Yaelian killed him, he would never be able to help her recover. He was certain that she was very. As Yaelian continued to deal with the zombies, Ling became lost in thought. He understood that if he couldn't keep up with Yaelian, he would lose her forever because he wouldn't be able to find her in the vast city. Therefore, Ling decided to assist Yaelian, and together, they fought and defeated a few zombies. Both of them fought bravely and defeated all the zombies in their path. Ling carefully sheathed his knife and observed Yaelian collecting the gels from the zombies' brains with determination. Ling couldn't help but wonder about the remarkable impact of those gels on Yaelian. He also realized that while facing the zombies, he felt no fear, and when Yaelian unleashed his rage, Ling felt influenced by it. Furthermore, consuming the gels seemed to revitalize Ling, granting him a significant power boost. When Ling and Yaelian finally reached the clothing shop, they found it deserted. Ling was unsure of which dress to choose, and while she was contemplating, Yaelian seemed to be lost in thought. They spotted a bathroom, and realizing that Yaelian was distracted, Ling assisted her in freshening up and changing her dress. When Ling and Yaelian arrived back at Ling's house, Ling seemed outwardly calm, but there was an underlying sense of unease. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was troubling him. On the other hand, Ling was amazed by the noticeable effects of the gel Yaelian had used the day before. Despite being apart, Ling still sensed a strong spiritual connection with Yaelian, as if it had persisted through his sleep. All of a sudden, Ling heard a faint sound emanating from Yaelian's body, prompting him to wonder if she was trying to communicate her thoughts to him in a new, mysterious way. Ling couldn't help but consider the possibility that Yaelian might be in need of nourishment. Lian found himself lost in his own thoughts. He reflected on how both he and Yaelian had managed to kill a large number of zombies, and how Yaelian had consumed all the gels they had retrieved from the zombies' brains. However, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong with Yaelian. She was incredibly weak and lying on the ground, so Ling had to carry her to a nearby room. Ling was extremely worried about Yaelian, as he had previously lost control over her a few times, which could be very dangerous. He knew he had to do his best to maintain control over the connection between himself and Yaelian. Moreover, he sensed that the unique and incredible power of the brain gel had altered both Yaelian and himself. As time passed, Yaelian slowly awakened and found herself sitting on her bed. Ling approached her, concern evident in his eyes, and inquired about her well-being. However, there was no response from Yaelian. Ling observed that her eyes had returned to their normal black color from the eerie red, but she still did not seem to be entirely back to her usual self. Though she appeared to be more energetic, Ling suspected that consuming the gel had caused a mutation in Yaelian's body. However, it was more than just a mutation. It was a significant evolutionary change. Not only had Yaelian consumed other zombies and evolved, but the virus seemed to be particularly cunning. This realization prompted Ling to be extra cautious. He also contemplated that no one would even suspect that Yaelian was undergoing such a profound transformation. When Ling first came across Yaelian in such a vulnerable state, his initial instinct was to seek refuge in the mountains with Yaelian, hoping to remain hidden there. However, Ling soon realized that this plan had its drawbacks. It posed the risk of starvation for Yaelian. This realization prompted Ling to reconsider his strategy. He arrived at the understanding that their best chance for survival and growth lay within the cities ravaged by zombies. As Ling fought to survive the zombie attack, he relied on the supplies he had brought along, including food, water, a flashlight, ropes, and various weapons. However, the domestic knife he had with him didn't inspire confidence in terms of durability, so he knew he needed a better one. That's when he recalled that Wang Lin's family was known for making high-quality knives, and that there was a store nearby. In the midst of all this, he couldn't help but think about Wang Lin from the neighborhood, who was incredibly sweet and greatly admired by the local boys. He also had the impression that the girl seemed delicate, so he was concerned about her ability to survive a zombie attack. He feared that she might become infected and not make it out alive. So, Ling asked Yaelian to move as they would go to the knife shop and grab some nice weapons from there. In the meantime, Wang Lin was taking a break in his shop while his friend was searching for something as he looked out through the binoculars. Just then, he spotted Ling and Yaelian approaching Wang's knife store, where they stood outside. The shop appeared to be badly damaged. Wang Lin's friend urged Ling to wake up upon seeing them approaching. Ling stirred, picked up the binoculars, and attempted to identify the approaching figures. However, her friend was unsure of their identity, suggesting that they might be other survivors. Lin was so lost in thought that she almost didn't hear her friend trying to tell her something. She was preoccupied with trying to remember where she knew the man who had come to her shop. Meanwhile, her friend was expressing concern about a dagger. What if those two unfamiliar people took it? Suddenly, Lin snapped back to reality and advised her friend on how to handle the situation. She warned him against shouting, as it might attract more zombies. Lin then prayed for their safety and emphasized the severity of the potential dangers they could face. Furthermore, Lin assured her friend that an ordinary person wouldn't know about her hidden knife and sword. She had concealed her knife in a secret place, ensuring that it wouldn't be found. As Ling and Yelian made their way into the shop, Yelian began scouting for the work area. He soon stumbled upon a staff office, only to find the door locked from the inside. Ling knocked on the door, calling out to see if anyone was inside. Sensing something amiss, he instructed Yelian to stand guard. Suddenly, a thunderous roar echoed from within, and a monstrous hand burst through the door, reaching out for Ling. The door creaked and splintered as Ling realized they were facing a mutant zombie. Its demonic roar sent shivers down their spines, leaving no doubt about the imminent danger they were in. Ling saw a hand come out through the door, and he heard a thrashing roar behind the door. He quickly retrieved his knife from his pocket and instructed Yelian to stay behind him. With the knife, Ling chopped off the hand that came through the door, then forcefully pushed the door against the creature's legs and kicked it through its knees. Ling screamed as the zombie mutant roared in response. Despite his efforts to stab the mutant with the knife, the creature stood up and kicked him away. Ling realized that the mutant was exceptionally powerful. As the mutant advanced towards Ling, roaring, Yelian seized the opportunity and attacked the mutant from behind, piercing its chest with her left hand. The mutant zombie had lost his left hand and had a large hole in his chest. Despite his injuries, Ling realized that he was still very powerful. With no other options, he gathered all his strength and attacked the mutant with his knife once again. This time, he aimed for the mutant's head and successfully defeated him. However, Ling also realized that he was very close to death. As he looked around, he saw many bodies and realized the extent of the mutant's destruction. Suddenly, Ling spotted Yelian. Even though she was there, she had a different intention. Ye went to the mutant's head and collected a green gel. She was about to eat it, but Ling stopped her because he wanted to check the gel himself first. Ling scrutinized the gel with precision, noting that it emitted a brighter glow than the typical zombie gel. Recognizing that this could indicate a higher concentration of the virus, he realized the need to exercise extra caution. Ling also pondered the importance of finding a secure location for rest. In the event that Ye consumed the gel and succumbed to its effects, Ling acknowledged that he too might be rendered immobile. Ling urgently whispered to Yelian that they couldn't continue without securing some weapons first. As they surveyed the finely crafted weapons on display, Ling's excitement grew. He couldn't help but acknowledge the exceptional reputation of Wang's knife store. Ling couldn't help pondering that if these weapons were to be sold on the open market, they would fetch thousands of yuan each due to their exquisite craftsmanship. Ling's foot unexpectedly struck something solid when he was lost in thought. It felt like a hidden compartment or stash of some kind. Ling opened the tile and found something incredible. There were some real daggers and knives. Ling thought those weapons must be amazing and very powerful as they were hidden. So, he took them. After collecting the weapons, Ling and Yelian came out of the store. Wang Lin peered through her binoculars and noticed that Ling had taken her cherished dagger. Overcome with anger and frustration, she let out a piercing scream. Ling, perplexed by her friend's sudden outburst, was at a loss as to what had transpired. It suddenly dawned on Lin that the two individuals who had visited her store were responsible for killing the mutant and pilfering her prized dagger. She had journeyed to the shop specifically to acquire that particular dagger, and now it had been snatched away from her. The realization fueled her fury. In an attempt to assuage her anger, Lin's friend reminded her that the dagger was already gone and that the culprits could not be ordinary individuals, given that they had murdered a mutant. Lin was seething with anger after discovering that her painstakingly crafted dagger had been stolen. She confided in her friend, expressing her deep frustration at the thought of someone taking away something that had taken her 6 months to create. Despite her friend's attempts to calm her down and distract her with other options, Lin was unwavering in her determination to track down the thief, even expressing a desire for retribution. However, after a sudden change of heart, Lin considered the possibility that her cousin might have inherited the dagger from her grandfather, and they decided to seek more information from her cousin. In her anger, Lin also cursed the man responsible for the theft. Ling found himself taken aback as he let out a sudden sneeze. His disbelief stemmed from the fact that he had always prided himself on his excellent physical condition, so the onset of the flu was perplexing. Despite his confusion, he was determined to come up with a plan. Ling reasoned that he could potentially use a disinfectant to mask the scent of the flu, thereby preventing it from attracting other zombies. However, he was quick to acknowledge that this method would likely only be effective in areas with a low density of zombies. Ling was under no illusions that in areas where zombies were abundant, his plan would likely prove futile. Ling reached into the depths of his pocket and pulled out the bright green gel. He held it out to Yelian, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Yelian's face immediately lit up with excitement as she eagerly accepted the gel. She wasted no time licking it and swallowing it down. As Yelian enjoyed the treat, Ling suddenly felt a jolt as though an electric shock had struck him. The terrible sensation washed over him, and in a panic, he called out Yelian's name. Ling collapsed onto the floor, his consciousness slipping away. Gradually, his senses returned, and he found himself waking up. Ling initially believed he must have been dreaming, but then a sudden realization struck him. Yelian was nowhere to be seen. A surge of panic washed over him as he considered the possibility that he had lost control over Yelian. However, a reassuring sensation washed over him, indicating that the connection between them remained intact. This brought a sense of mental stability and strength to Ling. As he focused on his magical whip, it revealed that Yelian had descended downstairs. Ling was both exhilarated and stunned by this revelation. He knew from experience that Yelian rarely moved on her own unless engaged in battle, prompting a deep curiosity about the circumstances that had prompted her solitary movement. Ling proceeded downstairs and was taken aback when he spotted Ye standing by the window, gazing outward. Ling was filled with joy, interpreting her presence as a sign of recovery, and moved forward to embrace her from behind. However, upon attempting to converse with Ye, he realized that she remained silent, leading him to speculate that her memories had not yet returned. In an attempt to console Yelian, he pointed out that her emotional responses and independent movements were positive indicators, encouraging her to keep progressing as it would lead her back to normalcy. Ling and Yelian cautiously stepped outside, only to find the streets overrun with zombies. As they surveyed the scene, a sudden onslaught of zombies descended upon them. Yelian, displaying remarkable agility and combat prowess, engaged the zombies in a fierce battle while Ling observed from a safe distance. Ling couldn't help but marvel at Ye's extraordinary evolution and the raw power of her instinctual nature. However, he also couldn't shake the unease that gnawed at him as he witnessed her ruthless efficiency in dispatching the zombies. It was clear that Ye saw the undead as nothing more than lowly creatures to be eradicated without a hint of empathy. Ling found himself troubled by the thought of how Ye's evolving instincts might influence her interactions with humans. He vowed to himself that if she ever posed a threat to the living, he would do everything in his power to stop her. In the distance, beyond the walls of the shopping mall, a terrifying sight unfolded. A group of zombies, their lifeless and decaying forms advancing with an eerie determination, was closing in on two figures, a man and a woman, who stood their ground amidst the impending threat. Through the barricaded windows of the mall, Ling could hear the ominous sounds of the undead drawing closer, and although shocked, he couldn't help but wonder if there might be other survivors in need of help. As the zombies roared and lurched menacingly forward, the man grasped a baseball bat tightly in his hands, fear etched in his features as he prepared to defend himself. Beside him, the woman displayed a remarkable sense of calm, her grip steady on a concealed dagger. With swift and practiced movements, she drew the blade from its cover and launched a daring attack against the encroaching horde. In a moment of selfless bravery, the woman urged the man to seek safety within the confines of the mall while she valiantly held her ground, engaging the zombies in a fierce and relentless battle. Her confidence radiated from every movement, and it was evident that she possessed extraordinary capabilities beyond that of an ordinary person. As Ling pondered the remarkable scene unfolding before him, he couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps this encounter was not merely a chance occurrence. With Ye at his side, Ling considered whether now might be the opportune moment to approach and offer assistance to this exceptional woman, ultimately deciding to tread carefully and cautiously toward this enigmatic figure. Ling was walking away with Yelian from that area. Suddenly he could see that someone was asking for help. It was that man whom he had seen in the shopping mall. No doubt he was shouting. Ling saw that the zombies heard the shouting and coming forward to him. That man was still crying for help, and it made Ling anxious as the zombies surrounded him and Ye. He asked Yelian to stand back. Of course, there were reasons. Ling thought if that woman were a survivor, she would watch them. If that woman had special powers, she would notice the peculiarity in Yelian. So, brought out the dagger he took from Wang's shop and got ready to fight on his own. That woman was still fighting with the zombies. She asked the man to stop shouting because his voice was attracting more zombies. Then the man told the woman that Ling could help them. After that, the woman noticed that Ling was fighting with the zombies outside. With his amazing magical power and the dagger he found in Wang's shop, Ling was fighting hard and killing the zombies ferociously. Ling thought that his mentality had been improved so he could tackle 3 zombies together. He was controlling the zombies with his magic whip and killing them simultaneously. Ling did not think of those zombies as zombies. Instead, he thought of them as tiny dolls that were coming to him one by one. Ling was waving the dagger, pointed it, and pierced the zombies' heads. The man was watching Ling killing zombies, and he was stunned. He asked the woman to watch how ferociously Ling was fighting, but the woman was not interested. The man was excited to see that someone was there who could save them from zombies. So he asked the woman to go out on the road. When they came out, they saw Ling was still fighting. That man called Ling shouted. When Ling noticed that, he was shocked because there were hundreds of zombies behind that man and woman. But that man asked Ling to follow him. They ran a lot and hid behind a wall. The woman said that zombies would not follow them temporarily. That man started to thank Ling for helping them, but Ling told him to stop. The man also said that Ling and his girlfriend were very brilliant. He praised Yelian a lot as she was able to run fast and had good stamina. That man compared Yelian with his Shauna. That woman. Shauna got angry to hear that. She asked that man to stop by calling him Liu Yuhao. Shauna wanted to say she was not anyone's. So, Liu calmed her and said that it was okay, and they were classmates. After their small fight, Liu thanked Ling for being with them and asked him to go with them to their place and take some rest. They had plenty of beer. Ling heard that, but he had his doubts regarding Yelian. He thought Yelian seemed like a normal person, but if they met her closely, they could spot something different. So, Ling did not want to go with them. He told them that Yelian and he had other jobs to do, but Liu was not ready to leave his helper, so he started to nag. But Shauna told him that if Ling and Yelian did not wish to come with them, they should not be forced. Actually, Shauna had some doubts. Shauna saw the dagger in Ling's pocket and tried to steal it, but Ling understood Shauna's intention, and he moved fast. So, Shauna flopped to the ground. Liu was confused. He asked Shauna what she was doing. Shauna did not answer Liu's question. But she called Ling and asked him where he found the dagger. Ling was annoyed with this stupid question, so he did not care. But Shauna asked Ling again to tell her where he found the dagger. Ling answered that he picked up the dagger in a knife store. Shauna was shocked and asked him if he went to the Wang store. Ling also exclaimed to hear Shauna's question. He wanted to know how she could know that. She said Yelian was not afraid, so what made Ling so afraid? Shauna also told Ling that Ye was not minding anything at all. She got close to Yelian, hugged her hand, and called her sister. Yelian's eyes turned red, but Ling scolded her and told her to be normal by using his magic whip. Yelian got back to normal in seconds, and her eyes turned black from red. Ling told Shauna that Ye could not speak, but Shauna was curious, and she had a lot of doubts. So she mocked Yelian to say that she was a pretty girl, but she did not speak. But Shauna did not want to express her curiosity and doubts, so she said Ye to come with her and take some rest in their room. Shauna also asked Ling to go with them to have some rest, and they would sponsor the beer. Shauna held Yelian's hand and forced her to go with her. She said that she had not seen any survivors for a long time, so she wanted to have a chat. Liu and Ling were following them. But as Ling was confused about Yelian, he said that they were making a mistake. Ling and Yelian went with Liu and Shauna to their house. There were other men and women presented. All of them were in a big room. Ling thought those men and women might be laughing at him, but Ling was not comfortable to quarrel with them. He thought he was not their kind, as they only enjoyed and excluded outsiders. So Ling stepped up and said sorry to their hosts, Liu and Shauna. Ling did not want to have free meals, and he told them. Both Shauna and Liu were surprised. But one of those men started to talk. He mocked Ling and said to him, a brave man who came to their place with a woman. He wanted to know if Ling could feed her on his own, and he was not a respectable man. A woman also asked Shauna if they had brought another 2 people with them. Shauna said yes. Those men and women wanted to know what Liu and Shauna brought for them to eat. Liu told them that they brought a lot of stuff from the supermarket on the southern street. Also, there was plenty of food left in the supermarket. So they could have what Liu and Shauna brought and then go for supplements to pick up. Ling was bored by hearing their conversation. He thought there were so many people living in the house, but Liu was excited to have Ling in their house. He wanted to introduce Ling to the other people, so he asked Ling his name, and Ling answered that his name was Ling Mo. He also introduced Yelian as his girlfriend. After knowing their names, Liu was excited to share the adventures they had. So, he told all of them how Ling helped them in the fight with the zombies. So, Liu and Shauna brought them to have food with all of them. But that man in the group was not happy. He told Liu that they had Shauna with them. So, they didn't need any other person. Other people in the room also agreed with him. They didn't want to have a stranger with them. That man's name was Lu Xin. A woman told Lu to stop mocking Ling. He had just come to have a meal with them. But Lu was very nasty. He said that Ling wanted a free meal, and others were excusing him to have that. After hearing that, Lu got very excited. He told Lu to stop saying something like that about Ling because he had helped a lot. If he were not there, no one knew what could happen to them. But Lu did not stop. He asked Liu Yuhao to stop being kind and offering food to Ling and his girlfriend, as there was a very limited supply. Liu asked Shanna to say something about it, as Liu was not stopping. But Shanna was still doubtful. Ling thought that Shanna remembered that he scolded her, so she didn't say anything. Ling was very bored with all this. He thought everyone in the house was mocking and laughing at him. But he didn't love to quarrel with some people who loved to enjoy and did not think about strangers in that situation. So, he again refused any meal there and wanted to leave the place. Liu and Shauna both were shocked, but Liu was not stopping and saying the same things to him. So, Ling failed to control his rage. He told Liu that he could have his meal, but he should not think to be served as a master. Liu was also angry, but Ling held his shirt's collars and put him in the air. Ling also fisted on Liu's cheek. Everyone was confused and afraid, but Ling did not stop. He threatened Liu that he was giving him slap granting. If Liu said any word that pissed off Ling, he would slap Liu again. Liu asked for help from Shauna. Shauna told Ling to put Liu down. Ling apologized to her, but Shauna was not convinced as he had slapped Liu. Liu wanted to know why Ling slapped him, and Ling slapped again to hear that. He was still on the air. Shauna asked Liu to apologize for his bad words. Everyone in the room was afraid, and they just sat in their places. Liu thought that he had not used any bad words. All he wanted to do was to save the food, but he was forced to say sorry to Ling in that condition, and Ling did let him go. Liu was very sorry, and he said that to Ling. He also said that he did not expect all those things would happen. Ling wanted to know who were those people who were counting on Liu and Shauna for food. Liu said that they were classmates at the same boarding school. Liu also told him that Liu Xin was a man from a very wealthy family, so he had a bad temper for a long time. They did not need to find. Liu said that Shauna was the most awesome person in their group, and he wanted Ling and Yelian to join their group. But Ling was pissed off. He was going away with Yelian. Ling said that he had no time to feed that bad man, Liu. Shauna tried to stop them. She said that it would be dark soon, so Ling and Yelian could spend a night with them. Shauna also said that Ling could have managed, but Yelian would have faced many difficulties. So, they should rest at their place. But Ling was not ready to hear anything. He said they would find a place in the rest of the city for them, sure. But Shauna held Ling's hand and asked him not to go. Ling was surprised. He wanted to know what Shauna wanted from him. Shauna said that Ling was a talented and skillful man in fighting. Also, he was not afraid of anything. So, it would be great if he could help Shauna. Ling refused to help Shauna, but Shauna was not ready to let Ling and Ye go. So, she said she had not said anything wrong to Ling and wanted him to stay. Shauna told him that all of them were warriors and that Ling had some excellent skills. So, he should help them all. Ling took his hand away from Shauna and said that he could not help when wasted men were involved in the fighting. Ling also said that it was Shanna's choice to feed all of them, but he was silent about that. If Shauna wanted to feed them with the help of Ling, he would never do that. Shauna asked Ling if he would help them if they weren't involved with the others. Ling refused to say that. Shauna said they were students from the No. 3 senior high school in X City. She wanted to know if Ling had heard about it. Ling said that he knew about the Key Senior High School, and it was a boarding too. Shauna said they had left some classmates in the school when they got out from there, and she thought she would take them all when they found a hiding place. Shauna and his other friends went to the school again, but it was difficult for them to get close. So he asked Ling if he could help her to get into the school. Ling said what he could get in return, and that made both Shauna and Liu shocked. Shauna and Liu's behavior pissed Ling off. He said he would not do anything for free. Liu got over emotional and said that everyone should help others in a time of disaster, but he felt that the earth had gone wicked, so Ling wanted something in return to help others. Ling was ready with his answer. He said that kindness depended on which disaster they were facing. When the earth was filled with zombies, it was impossible to have order and morals with them. Shauna seemed okay when she heard Ling's answer. So, she understood that Ling's demand was totally understandable. But Shauna was sarcastic. She pointed to the dagger Ling had and said he already got what he wanted because her cousin, Wang Lin, had forged that dagger. Shauna said that she and her cousin, Wang Lin, both learned the forging skill from their grandfather. She also said that her skill was better than Lin's, but the dagger was great, no doubt. So, Shauna already paid Ling in advance. Ling was surprised to hear Wang Lin's name. He thought Wang Lin must be a skinny little girl, but she had the power to forge swords and knives, and no doubt Wang Lin's work was amazing. So, she must be pretty skilled. Ling also expressed his sadness as he thought Wang died at a young age. Shauna told Ling that they had made a deal then. If Ling was worried about his girlfriend, he could let her be there with other people in the house. They would take care of her. But Ling did not agree. He said Ye Lian was fine with him, and he thought Shauna did not know that Ye was a mutant zombie. If he left her with other people in the house, Ye would kill them all. So, when they would come back, there would be nothing other than piles of bodies. Shauna told Ling that he was annoying, but he did pretty well in protecting his girlfriend. She also said that Ye was a good-looking girl. So, Ling should cherish her. Ling did not say anything. He thought the school campus would be filled with zombies, and most people there were possibly dead. Ling thought Shauna might have thought about that, but she did not want to give up yet. Ling was also confused about Shauna. He did not understand if Shauna was persistent or just a silly girl. On the other hand, Liu went to the room where other people were seated. He told them that Ling agreed to help Shauna and Liu find the teachers and classmates they had left in the school when they got out. One woman was confused if they should go there as the place was filled with zombies. But Shauna did not listen to her and said they had discussed that before, and she was going back to save them. She told that woman if those teachers and classmates were not covering their backs, zombies would have killed them, and that woman had nothing to say after this. One man in the group said that Shauna had a good point. It would be a selfish act if they didn't go back there to save their classmates and teachers. He also said that they should go there together, but Ling said no to his plan. The man wanted to know the reason, so Ling told him that the group didn't have the combating skills. It would be the easiest for zombies to attack them all together. And Ling thought that they wanted to be close to Shauna because they didn't feel safe without her, and Ling was not ready for babysitting. Shauna asked Ling to let the group go. He didn't have to worry about their lives. All she wanted the help from Ling when they were in crisis. Ling agreed to that. But the people in the group were afraid. They thought about what they would do and how they could fight the zombies. But the man who wanted to be with Shauna and Ling asked Shanta not to worry. They would try their best to protect themselves and they wouldn't drag behind. The plan was set. So, Ling told everyone to go to bed and take a rest. They would set out for the school in the morning. But Shauna asked Ling to wait. She said Ye couldn't sleep in the boys' room. It would not be convenient for her. So she must be with the girls, and Ling could get rest with Lin and other boys. Ling thought something and agreed to Shanna's proposal. He asked her to take a rest. Shanna was doubtful about Ling's behavior. She wondered why Ling was behaving so well. But Ling was not cool with the proposal at all. He knew that he needed to control Ye unless something bad would happen. So she started to control Ye Lian. Shauna took Ye Lian to her room and said that Ye would sleep with her, and there was no reason to add another bed as the situation was temporary. Shauna asked if Ye Lian would not change her clothes before sleep. As Ling was controlling Ye Lian, he could hear everything Shauna said. Ye Lian did not say anything. So Shana asked her if she was feeling shy about it, and if that was true, Shanna could help her to do that. But Ling was worried. Ye Lian's body temperature was very low. He thought, what if Shauna found something when helping Ye Lian to change her clothes? Ling could hear and feel everything as he was controlling Ye Lian. He thought girls played very dirty games in their rooms, but he could do something to confuse Shauna. Ling thought Shauna started that game, so he should only obey her. Ling told Ye Lian to help Shauna change her clothes. Ye Lian jumped over Shauna and started to open her clothes. That happened so fast that Shauna felt confused and worried. But Shauna had no intention to stop, and she felt something peculiar. Although Ye Lian was a girl, Shauna felt some guy was looking at him and changing her clothes. So, she felt ashamed and told Ye Lian that they should go to bed as soon as possible. Ling could understand what Shauna was feeling. So, he thought she was regretful of what Shauna had said. Ling just wanted to mess up with Shauna. So, he instructed Ye Lian that it was already late and opened Shauna's clothes. Ye followed the instructions. Shauna was really ashamed, and she started to cry. Shauna told Ye Lian that she would never be so naughty again, so Ye should not do that again with her. Ling understood what Shauna felt. He realized that Shauna was just a little girl to flirt with him. Ling instructed Ye Lian to hand over Shana's clothes to her. Ling told Ye Lian to go to sleep, and she did that. When Shanna saw Ye Lian to get back to bed, she was shocked. The other girls were watching Shanna when she was only covered by a bedsheet. Shauna got annoyed and told them to go to sleep. It was almost midnight, but Shauna was still awake. She told Ye Lian that she was beautiful. If she smiled more, she would be more charming. She also told Ye that she thought Ling forced Ye to stay with him, but when she came to know that Ye couldn't talk, Shauna thought that Ling could not be a scum. Then she told Ye Lian to sleep as they had to go to the school in the morning and thanked her. First, Ling thought that Shauna had tough responsibilities on her shoulders to feed all of them, but later he thought Shanna had asked for it, so he had nothing to do. So, Ling fell asleep. In the morning, everybody was together to grab a bite. Liu handed over some food to Ling and asked him to say if he needed more. Liu and the other man were watching that from behind a wall. Liu said that Ling was taking their food, but not taking care of them. That other man told him to stop if he did not want to beat again. Liu was furious. He told that man he was a coward. Ling asked the group what weapons they had, but Liu said that except for Shauna's broadsword, they only had kitchen knives. Ling said that it was better to have no weapon at all. He told Liu to manage at least one for each of them. Ling also said that a single zombie was just a little stronger than a normal man, After hearing that, one man in the group said if they could show a little bravery, they could fight back a bit. Lu was hearing everything from the back of the wall, and he thought everyone thought that fighting back zombies was simple. Actually, he was not ready to go with the group and fight the zombies. They set out for the school, as they needed to reach there before afternoon. Shauna was attacking the zombies with her sword and killing them. She asked the group to follow her. Lu also got some bravery. He also started killing the zombies with his knife. Ling was watching the group from a little distance and thought they were cooperating very well. If the group were not so crowded, it would be easy for them to fight back the zombies. Ling closed his eyes and started to control his magic whip through which he was controlling Yahello. Ling remembered that ever since Yahello ate the mutant gel, she was not interested in getting gels from ordinary zombies. If Yahello needed to evolve, she would need more mutant zombies. But it was really important. So Ling thought he saw the mutant zombies in the bus and the knife store compartment. They were in confined places where there were some people. So he needed to go to hospitals, malls, schools, etc. to find other mutant zombies. Ling also thought when they reached the school, he would go alone to find if there were any mutant zombies in the school. They almost reached the school, but suddenly a hand came out through the door glass and captured one man in the group and took him inside. That man was crying for help. Everybody was confused. Suddenly Ling came and jumped through the glass door. He went inside with his dagger in hand. The zombie killed that man already, but Ling controlled and eventually killed the zombie in half with his dagger. Shauna ran there to find out what had happened to that man, but Ling said there was no need to see him as he was dead already. Everybody was upset. The group was standing there where the body of the man was lying on the floor. Shauna was sad. Other women asked Shauna what they would do, but Shauna took a pause to reply. She said to keep moving. Ling noticed Shauna, and he thought that Shauna must be a silly girl because she was pretty resolved in the critical moments. Ling told Yahello to go with him, but Lu was not happy with their decision. So, when his friend asked him to follow by pulling his hand, he got angry and told his friend to stop. His friend said that they should go after them as they had already started to move, but Lu blamed his friend for that. Lu said to him that because of him they had to come to the school, and one person lost his life for that. Lu's friend still tried to convince him. He asked Lu how they could survive if Shauna and Liu Yahao were not there. He also said that Ling is already being harshed on them. Ling could make Shauna do the same with them, and what would happen then? But Lu was not in a place to hear those things. He told his friend that even if they followed Shauna, they would not be able to do anything. Lu was angry at Ling for beating him, and also he was not happy with Shauna. So, Lu's friend told him that it would be beneficial for them if there were a few people left. So, Lu must have made Shauna happy, as he was depending on her. He also told Lu to become smarter, as Shauna would never be Lu's girlfriend. It made Lu more angry. His friend also said that Ling Mo was untouchable, so Lu could not do any bad to him. Angry Lu became annoyed with his friend, Wang Cheng, and told him he was a treacherous person. Lu's anger on Ling and Shauna became unbearable, but Wang didn't listen to Lu. He went to the group, although Lu was calling him a hypocrite. The group was outside of a building. They were noticing from a hiding place that the zombies were roaming everywhere. Suddenly, Shauna told them that they should manage to draw those zombies away. Lu and Wang could hear them and got confused. Shauna told them that she would draw those zombies' attention, and in the meantime, Ling Mo would beat them. But Ling said no to that, and he also said he would draw them away. Shauna was surprised to hear that, but Ling told her to find a place to hide. And when the zombies would start to gather toward him on the street, the group could pass through the place immediately. Shauna was not convinced, so she asked Ling if he was sure because Shauna was ready to do the task. But Ling asked them to go. Suddenly Ling could feel a hand on his shoulder. It was Lu. He was very emotional after listening to Ling's decision. That's why he wanted to thank Ling on behalf of all of them. But Ling thought he just wanted to go because he didn't want to babysit that group. However, that was not all. Ling also thought if Shauna went to draw those zombies away, she would never come back. That's why it would be better if Ling could do the job. Wang came to Shauna to say something, but Shauna stopped him and asked him to hide. Shauna also asked Ling to be careful. Ling asked for only 5 minutes to find a place and said that after that, there would be a zombie party. Shauna was really confused after hearing that. Ling went to a building named Link Phone with Yahello. Ling entered that place, and there were 3 zombies. As Ling entered, zombies tried to attack him, but Ling started to control them with his magic whip. Ling thought he would not control more zombies when controlling Yahello too. So, controlling only 3 zombies would be a great idea. Ling went to the place where there were phones everywhere. He attached a few phones to those zombies' necks and gave a phone to a zombie's hand. Ling set the external stereo on maximum volume and left the place with Yahello. Those controlled zombies were following them. Ling stated the external stereo, and those zombies ran towards a building with those phones on their necks. There were zombies everywhere outside the building. Those controlled zombies ran while following the stereo wave as Ling told them to do. Suddenly, each zombie outside there followed the same wave. On the other hand, Shauna and the group found a place to hide. But Shauna was watching Ling as he instructed the zombies to follow the wave up and down. Shauna remembered what Ling told him about passing immediately when the zombies on the street gathered towards him. Shauna felt that Ling was a stupid guy, but she asked her group to move immediately. Everyone was moving, and Shauna was thinking if Ling and Yahello were both in the hospital building. The zombies on the street gathered together and started to crawl up the building. Liu asked Shauna to go, but Shauna was still in her thoughts, and suddenly she saw Ling and Yahello come running to them. Ling told Shauna to move, and that was all he could do. A zombie fell from the building and crashed on the street, and the other zombies noticed Shauna, Ling, and Yahello run. So, they started to come after them. Ling held both Shauna and Yahello's hands and told them to run. A bunch of zombies were coming after them. Shauna asked Ling what they should do in that situation. Ling told her to find cover as it was impossible to fight all those zombies in a wide and open place. Ling, Shauna, and Yahello went to the place where everyone was hiding. But all those zombies were there to enter the place too. They were roaring so much that they annoyed Yahello. But Ling asked Yahello to stop because he wanted to kill those zombies one by one. So when the zombies came into the building, they all started to attack them one by one and kill them. The other girls had knives on their hands, but they were terrified. Liu and Wang were also afraid. They were thinking about what they could do in that situation. Suddenly, 2 zombies came through the stairs and stunned the hiding group. One of the boys caught in front of those zombies, and being terrified, he was asking those zombies to go away. But Wang Chung pushed him towards the zombies. That boy was crying for help and understood Wang pushed him. Another zombie was going forward to a girl and roaring. The girl was terrified, but she thought she would die that day. But suddenly, Yahello came up with her excellent battling skills and attacked those zombies. She took the knife from the girl's hand and killed that zombie. Everyone was stunned to watch that. 1 minute before that incident, Shauna, Ling, and Liu were fighting the other zombies. They killed a lot, but there were many more. Ling was controlling the zombies and killing them. But suddenly, he felt something and understood that Ling could not control any other zombie temporarily as he had reached his limit. So, he asked Shauna and Liu to step back a bit and slow down the pace. They both agreed, but Liu asked Ling what he would do next. Ling was piercing his dagger into a zombie's chest and told Liu to take care of himself first. He also ordered Yahello to kill the other 2 zombies but not to overdo her skills. Yahello jumped and killed those zombies instantly. Each zombie was killed and lying down there. Liu was terrified before, but when he saw the dead zombies, he heaved a sigh of relief. Shauna asked Liu if 2 people were missing. Liu said that he had seen 2 people go upstairs during the fight. After listening to that, Shauna asked Liu to go upstairs and check, but Ling stopped them and said they must be dead by then. Ling said that zombies were on the 1st floor. They were on the 2nd floor too. So, 2 people couldn't go upstairs and not get killed. Suddenly, they could hear very annoying sounds. Shauna was really worried about her group. She thought already 4 people had been killed. She might not be able to save others, but Ling stood beside her and said it was not her fault. He also said that things might be worsen if Shauna could leave her group to their first hiding place. Shauna thanked Ling for consoling her. She was thinking about both Ling and Yahello and how powerful they were. On the other hand, one boy named Hao was accusing Wang of what happened to them. He said if Wang did not force them to come there, nothing would have happened. Wang was afraid. He was telling Hao to let him go, but Hao wanted to kill him with his knife. Shauna went there and unweaponed him, and Liu kicked him with his fist. Suddenly, Ling noticed Wang's cruel face. He was not afraid at all, but Wang wanted to kill Hao. Liu tried to calm Hao and said that those weapons were not for aiming at his own people. Wang ate her anger and said to Hao that he was fine. He also told Liu that Hao might have felt nervous, so Liu should let him go. That fight was over, so Shauna told them to go. Ling was still noticing Wang. So, Wang came to Ling smiling and asked why Ling was looking at him. Ling said nothing to him. He only told them to go. There was an entrance gate to Lihua chain supermarket. In that supermarket, a monstrous zombie was doing something. It had red eyes and it was roaring like a demon. That zombie heard a band on the door and started to roar more ferociously. Ling, Shauna, Liu, and the group went through the Lihua's chain supermarket entrance gate. They entered the supermarket and saw no one, so Liu said that nobody was there. Shauna asked Ling to go inside and search, and they would cover for Ling. Ling told her to split there and meet at the entrance. Shauna told her 2 friends to follow her and the rest of the group to look around to see if they could find something useful, Ling went inside with Yelian and thought that after the fight, his mentality had improved and his understanding had also improved a lot. It made him remember every tiny detail easily. He also thought that someone had been spying on him since he entered the supermarket, and because of that, Ling was feeling bad all the time. Suddenly, Ling saw that Yelian's eyes had turned red. She must be desiring something. Ling thought about what could attract Yelian at that time. It must be a mutant zombie. Both of them heard someone's helpless crying, so they ran to that sound. On the other hand, Lu was watching a mutant zombie eating his friend while his friend was crying for help. The zombie was roaring, and he had seen Lu and went after him. Ling and Yelian reached there at that time. Lu asked Ling Mo for help, and Ling could see that there was a mutant zombie. Yelian already jumped towards the zombie, so when Ling called Yelian, she would not stop. The mutant zombie held Lu, but he had seen Ling and Yulian. So, he thrashed Lu and came toward Ling. Ling could see that the zombie was very powerful and different from the others he had already met. So, Ling thought he must kill the zombie before Shana arrived. Ling started to control Yelian with his magic whip and asked her to go and kill the zombie. Ling was in front of the zombie and Yelian was behind it. The mutant zombie was roaring like a demon, but Yelian went after him from behind and attacked him. Ling was coming from the front with his dagger and attacked him, but the mutant was very powerful. So, he was still not killed. Ling thought for a second and came up with another plan. He started to focus and fastened the mutant's neck with his magic whip. It was not easy at all because Ling was controlling two mutant zombies at the same time. He asked his whip to evolve and fastened the mutant's neck with more grip. After that, Ling asked Yelian to attack, and Yelian pulled out the green gel from the mutant's head. No doubt the mutant was dead. Shana and Lu came to that spot running. Shana wanted to know what happened, but when she saw a monstrous zombie lying dead in front of Ling and Yelian, Shana was stunned. Ling was feeling tired. Shana asked him if he was all right. Ling said yes and put the green gel in his jacket pocket. Ling realized that his mentality had improved after the fight, and his connection with Yelian was much tighter. So, he might be able to control two mutant zombies together. The thread of his thought was broken when Lu got his sense back and asked for help. Shana told Lu to bandage up Lu. When Lu was bandaging him, Lu said that Ling could have saved him if he wanted. Lu was more angry than before. Another friend of Shana's was lying there and asking for help from Shana. But he was infected and had no chance to live. So, Shana killed him with his sword. Her mates were afraid to see that. So Shana said it was important to do as he would suffer more if he would lie there for more time. Shana was very sad and Ling noticed that. Shana wanted to know how Ling and Yelian could have killed a mutant zombie in such a short time. So, she asked that to Ling, but Ling did not answer her clearly. He said it was a tough fight and he was hurt too. Shana understood that Ling was hiding something from her, but she did not know what was that. Suddenly, Lu showed up and told Shana that he wanted to tell her something. Shana asked Ling to join them too. Lu said that Lu would not survive as the color of his wound was like a zombie's. He would transform into a zombie if they could let him. Shana said she guessed that, but Lu wanted to know about what they could do. Lu suggested to take him with them, but Shana said no immediately. Shana told him that everyone was hiding from Lu. So, it was not possible to take Lu with them. Lu asked her what they should do, and Shana turned to Ling. But Ling said he would not be involved in that matter as he had already said that before coming for this fight. So, Shana told Lo to leave some food for Lu. If he had been alive and had not transformed into a zombie, they would have taken Lu with them when they returned to their place. Ling thought that Lu would not appreciate that, and their food would be wasted. Still, it was a better idea than taking him with them. Shana and Lu went to convince Lu. Shana said that zombies would not find him as the office Lu was in was hidden. She also said that she could not take risks. When they would be back from school, they would check Lu and take him with them. Lu was both annoyed and angry, but he agreed with them. So, Shana asked Lu to move from there. No doubt Shana was sad. But Ling thought about what could be more sadistic, killing a friend who was seriously injured or leaving a friend behind. Ling also thought Shana was doing the right thing, but a person selfish like Lu could sacrifice all of them so he could live. Suddenly, another thought came into his mind. He thought it could be possible that when a person got injured by a mutant zombie, that person would turn into a mutant zombie. So, Lu could transform into a mutant zombie. They reached at number 3, high school. They were waiting outside the building. Ling said the area was so quiet. So, he doubted that there would be some problem for sure. Lu said that when the disaster broke out, most people ran out. Only a few students and teachers stayed. So, there would be many zombies in the building for sure. Suddenly, Ling felt something. He thought that boarding schools could be a great place for zombies. They did not have to pray there, but they could kill a lot. So, emerging mutant zombies were natural. Leon's thoughts broke. He understood that the feeling had some meaning. Leon must have sensed mutant zombies. That's why he was feeling like that. Shauna told him to go inside, but Ling told her to wait. He also said that their cooperation was broken when they reached the supermarket entrance. Shauna was shocked to hear that, but Ling told her that their paths had changed and they should go to different ways. Shauna looked worried, but she thanked Ling and Yelian both. Liu wanted to offer some food to Ling as they would need them on the way, but Ling refused to take them and told Liu to keep them. Also, he told Shauna that he needed to do something in the school. They might meet again. Yelian and Ling entered the school while Shauna was watching them. Ling thought there must be some mutant zombies as Ye's eyes turned red again. Ye and Ling went in front of the elevator, and Ling was surprised to see that the elevator was still working. Yelian prepared herself for fighting, but Ling had no clue. So, he tried to control Yelian with his magic whip again. He thought there might be lots of mutant zombies lurking in the elevator after watching Yelian's reaction. Ling told Ye to step back and threw a stone to the elevator switch and stopped it. Ling was ready with 2 daggers in his hands. When the elevator came down to the first floor, Ling could hear a mutant zombie's roar. A hand came out from the elevator, and a ferocious mutant zombie came out of it. The zombie was roaring like a monster. Ling expected it that way and attacked the zombie with his daggers. But the zombie caught both the daggers with his hands and roared again. Ling realized that the mutant's hands were strengthened, so edge tools failed to hurt him. Ling asked Yelian to attack the mutant, but the mutant was very powerful. He was fighting with both Yelian and Ling. When Ling tried to pierce him with his daggers, the mutant stood against it and roared more. Ling focused and fastened his neck with his evolved magic whip and called Yelian to attack again. Yelian attacked him and cut his right hand. The mutant was roaring ferociously. Ling thought when mutant zombies reached higher levels, it was not easy to control them. But as the mutant lost one of his hands, he had become weaker. So Ling asked Yelian to attack him again. Yelian and Ling attacked the mutant zombie again and again. Ling asked Yelian for the final attack and Ling was controlling the mutant with his whip. Yelian attacked him and brought out his green gel. Ling heaved a sigh of relief. Yelian handed over the gel to Ling and he saw that it was a new kind of gel, better than the last one. Yelian wanted to eat that gel then, but Ling said it was a very dangerous place, so she should not have the gel there. Ling put the gel back inside a packet and kept that in his jacket pocket. He asked Yelian to move as there would be more mutant zombies. They were ready. When Ling and Yelian could see mutant zombies, they attacked and killed them. Also, after each killing, Yelian handed over the gels to Ling. Ling was looking very tired. When Ye handed him a gel, he saw that the color was ordinary. He had a total of 8 gels with him by then. 2 gels looked ordinary to him, but the others were really good. Ling told Yelian that those gels would help her to evolve again. Ling thought when he was controlling Yelian, he felt no separation between them. It seemed like Ye was a part of Ling's body. He thought he could be able to control 2 mutant zombies together with his current mentality. But the only problem was Ling's own physical issues. He told Yelian that he felt very tired after fighting for a whole morning. But the thing that shocked Ling was the power of Yelian. She did not seem tired at all. Ling saw the stronger gel inside his pocket again and thought about becoming stronger. But he asked Yelian to give her a hand as he was feeling really tired. Shauna and her group were close to the classroom. So Shauna warned everyone to watch out. Liu doubted that after all these, it could not be possible for their classmates and teachers to be alive. He said that to Shauna. Wang also said that they didn't have food or drink. So if they were still there, they were not alive. Shauna told them that she was prepared for that. She also said that they made a promise to their classmates and teachers. So, they should fulfill that. Shauna was prepared for anything with her sword and asked others to check that out. Shauna knocked on the classroom door and someone was asking about who was there. Shauna and his friends were happy to know that those people were alive. Shauna said that it was her and she came to pick them up. A man opened the door, calling Shauna's name. His face and clothes were full of blood. He was Teacher Wang. Liu asked what happened to him, but Shauna doubted something. She told her team to wait and asked the teacher if there were more than 20 teachers and students when they left, and if zombies did not attack them, how come just a few students had survived? Teacher Wang said that it was an accident, but he did not convince Shauna a bit. She told the teacher to get out of her way and went inside. Shauna saw something unnatural